We're in the middle of the winter season, and yet so much natural wildlife and also plant life to follow along with and learn more about across the greater West Bloomfield area during this cold and chilly season outside. And plenty of those opportunities are available through our friends over at West Bloomfield Parks. They have a special live animal show coming up in just a couple of weeks, plus plenty of more opportunities to learn about our local nature, our local wildlife, and more all throughout the year. Joining us now to talk about some of the upcoming opportunities is the West Bloomfield Parks Naturalist Supervisor, Lauren Azoury. Lauren, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Tyler. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you on. You got an exciting show coming up, an opportunity for some live animal feeding, photo opportunities, and of course, a lot of learning opportunities with some of the animals in the nature room at West Bloomfield Parks' Recreation Activity Center. Tell us about this upcoming show, Cold-Blooded Critters, live animal show happening in February.
Yeah, so we have lots of live animals, as you can see behind me, that live inside the nature room that we call our animal ambassadors, and they help us teach the public about our native wildlife. But we often like to invite contractors, guest teachers that might have different animals than we have to teach our community about those animals as well. So that's what this live animal cold-blooded critters program is about. It's on February 10th, and we're inviting Nature Discovery, who is a local organization that houses live animals for education, and they are wildlife biologists. They're bringing all native, which means they're from around here, but different than the ones we have. And cold-blooded means it's going to be mostly reptiles and amphibians, so those scaly and slimy creatures. So the ones that you might not see outside in the wintertime, but can see inside the nature room at this time of year. So obviously we love outdoor adventures, but we also like to offer fun learning opportunities inside as well. And our live animal shows are a great way to do that.
And how do those live animal shows, from the standpoint of an educator on your side and with your team, help to bring that nature education to our community? And then from the other side, what do you often see that parents, and especially the kids that are engaging in these programs, ultimately get out of attending a show like this?
Yeah, I think that being able to touch an animal is sometimes a scary thing for kids. Like we never force that on them, of course, but it is a unique opportunity. So if a kid is deciding that that's what they're comfortable doing, it's a great way to engage with nature safely. So obviously we wouldn't be encouraging anyone to do this with wild animals outside, but the jobs of these animals, much like our nature staff here, is to educate. And so being able to have those close encounters helps kids to appreciate nature more. So the more that you can interact with nature, the more you can learn about it, the more you appreciate it. Then in the long run, the more you want to protect it. So we're trying to really encourage and create future stewards of our earth. We want all the kids and with their adults as well to experience these hands-on animals in a safe setting where they feel comfortable and they can learn. And then hopefully that helps them to be excited about nature in future endeavors and help the earth.
Cold-Blooded Critters, the live animal show, will be happening February 10th, 10 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. in the Nature Room at the Recreation Activity Center on Walnut Lake Road in West Bloomfield. You can learn more information, including how to register for the event, on wbparks.org, and find even more information about upcoming programs and special events from West Bloomfield Parks on Facebook at WB Parks, where we're broadcasting today. And then on a wide-ranging scale, Lauren, these classes that you're putting on, some involve the live animals, others are just getting these kids into the nature rooms, showing them some examples of different phenomena they'll see outdoors in their local community. How big of a benefit is it to have this nature room in our community and these opportunities for our kids? And what are some of the focuses from your team on getting this education out to the community and keeping it fresh year in and year out?
Yeah, so we do see a lot of repeat families, which we love. Like that's really important to continue to grow that. I love when I'm at a big event and I see a family whose a parent comes up to me and they have a kid that's taller than me now, but I taught them and inspired them from when they were short, very short, much younger. And so having those memories in our community are really important. It's amazing that these kids remember these things, but they are so unique experiences that we're able to provide. They might not feel comfortable within their family unit to do so. Like maybe their parents aren't comfortable going on a trail, but they learn that from coming to our programs, and then they can continue to grow that in their homes, and then continue to grow that maybe even in their own backyards. So we definitely love our repeat visitors who like to continue to learn as they grow up here in our community. But we're always hoping to invite new people to the nature room or to our trails. The more that we can learn about our climate and our earth, the more we can do to help. And so we're not just inspiring kids. While often they're a fun group to have here, I love most often, and I know my staff does too, when an adult comes to a program with the intention of entertaining their kid, but they leave and say, wow, I learned so much more than I ever thought I would, even as the adult, not as my child. So we like to educate all ages. You're never too old or too young to learn something new. West Bloomfield Parks is also really big on professional development for our staff internally. So we always love to learn new things. Technology is always changing. Research is always changing about what's happening outside and with our wildlife and our flora and fauna. So we like to learn alongside with people too, and we like to take what we learn and teach our community. So it is nice to be able to reach a broad range, and we love connecting with repeat visitors as well as with new people in the community.
Indoors, outdoors, and all throughout the community, learning opportunities and chances to get outside into nature all throughout the year, including this winter, are available on wbparks.org. Their winter guide has long since been released. The program registration is wide open for the coming weeks and months with West Bloomfield Parks. You can also learn more information and get updates on their Facebook page at WB Parks. Joining us on the Splash Live is West Bloomfield Parks Naturalist Supervisor Lauren Azoury. We had a really cool story that we showed earlier on this week. Recently, West Bloomfield Parks posting a picture on their Facebook page of an unusual interaction at the Recreation Activity Center. It's not uncommon to see deer roaming around at West Bloomfield Town Hall. Heck, I see it all throughout the year. But this is unique because for those that are listening on the radio or later on, there's a deer that's right by a light post that's staring directly at the camera. There's a couple other deer in the background that are kind of almost posing for this picture. And so that kind of sparked in my mind having this conversation with you about interacting with wildlife throughout the year. And they're very docile creatures. They're coming up often close to us, especially these deer at West Bloomfield Town Hall. But there are right ways and there are wrong ways, even well-intentioned, to interact with nature in the winter, especially with our deer.
Correct. So this is actually at our bird feeding station that we have at the Recreation Activity Center. And I think that obviously we all in West Bloomfield Township or any community surrounding us know that we have a high population of deer here, and they are really fun to watch. But the DNR does have a ban on bait feeding or ground feeding deer. So we do not encourage deer to come to our feeding station by putting large amounts of food on the ground for them. It's really a safety and health hazard for them. So you don't want deer communally feeding in one area where they're sharing like saliva and those kinds of things and can spread disease. It has happened before. Chronic wasting disease was the reason this ban was put into place. So they're trying to prevent that. In our woods, luckily in West Bloomfield, we have a lot of woodland and wetland areas, a lot of natural areas. And so deer actually change what they eat in the winter. So they do eat a lot of green and things that are green and growing in the spring, but as winter is out and about and they're exploring, they tend to do what's called browsing. So they'll chew on the inner bark of twigs and buds. So basically browsing is eating sticks and twigs. And so they're able to find sustenance and food in this winter. But definitely encouraging others to put up a bird feeding station if you do it properly. So we love having our bird feeding station here. It's another great opportunity to engage with nature. I know in these winter months, you might be a little hesitant to go outside, especially with the temperatures we've been having. So it's a great way to engage with and view wildlife from inside if you choose to do so. So having a bird feeding station, making sure that the feed is high off the ground so the deer can't reach it, making sure that you're not putting big chunks on the ground so the deer don't communally feed there. All those things keep our deer safe, but also help us to view amazing birds as well. But yes, that funny deer was a great capture by our social media person. The tongue out was perfect and a fun way to engage with nature for sure. We also keep our bird feeding station close to our windows so that it keeps the birds safe. They're less likely to have window strikes if it's close up. And so, yeah, there's a lot of great ways to engage with nature, and having a bird feeding station is a great way to do that.
We have a great resource right next door to us at West Bloomfield Parks, the Recreation Activity Center, and their Parks Naturalist team, your Parks Naturalist team. Always a great resource all throughout the year, posting advice on social media, including on their Facebook page at WB Parks, videos, and of course all the classes and learning opportunities in the nature room, in the outdoor natural play area, and all throughout our trails across the greater West Bloomfield community. Lauren, if people want to learn more or they want to explore some other nature information in our community, what's the best way they can get in contact with your team?
Oh yeah, for sure. Our website has a wealth of information. We have our green page, we have our events page, we even have a page that talks about snowshoeing. So wbparks.org is a simple way to do that. Lots of dates and times if you're looking to register. But we also do keep up with our Instagram as well. So our social media marketing team and the Naturalist team work closely together. So we post fun facts, green tips and advice. So our Instagram, WB Parks, is also a great way to see what's going on here as well.
Facebook.com/WB Parks. You can find them on Instagram. Also, WB Parks, Twitter, WB_Parks. And all these links and more information available on their website, including registering for their upcoming Cold-Blooded Critters live animal show on February 10th. Available on WBParks.org. Lauren, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Tyler.